everyone, it's time for your Monday Daily Trucker News Update. I'm Isela Rios.
And I'm Carlin Stafford. We have a lot of news to cover today, including the signs the freight market is heading in a positive direction, a multi-billion-dollar deal between tire makers, and incredible photos of a fiery crash in Texas.
So let's get trucking.
Well, we've got some good news for the trucking industry. Looks like the market as a whole is gaining some financial steam. Thanks to the quarterly earnings of BMO, the former Bank of Montreal, which is a big leader in the transportation sector and often used to measure how the industry is trending, we know that things are moving in the right direction. As of the first quarter of 2021, BMO reported an 8% growth from this same time last year, which was pre-pandemic. Now, their report also shows fewer write-offs so far than in 2018, which is considered by many to be the strongest freight market in recent history. So here's hoping that this trend continues.
That's not the only good sign for freight. In fact, as it turns out, real estate is also a good indicator of how things are trending, especially for flatbed haulers. The Fannie Mae Home Purchase Sentiment Index, yep, that's literally its name, increased by a pretty sizable amount. Low interest rates are helping lumber prices, which is being driven by a higher demand for single-family housing and remodeling projects. Despite the pandemic, now, what impact is that having on the market? Well, right now, flatbed spot rates are sitting at $2.21. Last year at this time, it was 37 cents lower.
You know, it's always a good thing when trucking is going in the right direction because that means pretty much everything else is as well.
Yeah, and that's good, right?
Always.
The federal government is reversing course and is now supporting the ethanol industry lawsuits over biofuel waivers granted to oil refineries by the Trump administration. The EPA said it supports a Court of Appeals decision that the Trump administration EPA improperly granted exemptions to refineries in the lawsuit, which was filed by the Renewable Fuels Association and Farms Group. Federal law requires refiners blend in biofuels in the nation's gas supply. However, they can get exemptions if they show that doing so hurts their finances. Well, from 2016 to 2018, the EPA issued 85 exemptions, which, according to the Renewable Fuels Association, undercut renewable fuel volumes by 4 billion gallons. The lawsuit now heads to the Supreme Court.
Well, sticking with the fuel theme, the almost 10-cent diesel spike is one of the highest in more than 3 years. An average gallon of diesel now runs about $2.97, which is about 9 cents more than it cost the same time last year. The cause? Well, the darn Arctic blast that hammered much of the U.S. the third week of February. Since a lot of refineries are in southern states, they're not exactly built to withstand such a brutal cold, and a lot of them had to be closed to avoid dangerous results. You know, Isela, it's never a good thing when, gas and oil prices are rising, but unfortunately, that's just the world we live in at the moment.
That's how it is all the time. I mean,
All right.
What can we do?
Yeah, exactly. We pay, that's what we can do. All right, well, did you guys hear about this? Goodyear has purchased Cooper Tire. The almost $3 billion deal will give America's largest tire producer, Goodyear, a bigger role around the world, including China, which is the world's largest car market. Goodyear was already the world's third largest tire manufacturer behind only Bridgestone in Japan and France's Michelin. While it won't move spots after the purchase, it's estimated that the company will now see global sales spike from $15 billion from the $12 billion it currently makes.
Check out these photos from a massive fire in Central Texas last week. A train hauling petroleum collided with an 18-wheeler, 14 cars overturned and caught fire. Thankfully, the driver of the semi was able to get out with no injuries. However, it took responders several hours to finally get the flames put out, and the nearby houses were evacuated as a safety precaution.
You know, Isela, that is like the second semi versus train story we've covered in the last 2 weeks. So guys, remember, look both ways when you come to a railroad crossing if it doesn't have the barriers already, and make sure if a train is coming that you stop and wait.
Yes, it's dangerous.
Exactly. This driver was lucky with, getting away with only minor injuries, but
that doesn't mean it's going to happen to you.
Exactly. Well, that does it for today's update.
Tune in tomorrow for the news you need.